Alright, we're gonna go on a little walk today. We got new seeding hay. We've taken 2 cuttings off of it. And we got the regrowth. It's beginning of August. We just got 2.5 inches of rain a few days ago. I want to see what the regrowth looks like. Talk about the seeding itself, how we seeded it, what I seeded, and I'll show you guys it. So this here, take a look. So this currently is hay. Used to be a cornfield last year, and before that it was in pasture, and I had it in pasture for I think 4 years in pasture. Rotated it out. This was 2019, so 19, 20, 21, 22. Yeah, 4 years. So pasture 4 years, and then we went 1 year into corn. Produced beautiful corn last year. I tilled up the pasture, put my bedded pack, spread that on the field, and then tilled that up, planted the corn last year. Like I said, had a great crop of corn, and so this year we planted in the spring, beginning of April, and I don't know if, well, for us it was, gosh, it was in the 70s, mid 70s, maybe pushing 80 a couple days. Beginning of April, I thought it was going to be perfect. So we went out and we planted it, and what we did is we disked what was corn and cull mulch. So broke it down into a finer seed bed, finer particles of dirt, and then we rolled that with the cull mulch. So you pull the tines up, so then it just goes over again and crushes the dirt into a smaller, finer dirt. And then I took my whirly seeder and went out and I broadcast the seed. And then after I broadcast it, then I went and took the cull mulch and I rolled over the seed again. And that's to press the seed into the ground, cover it a little bit, and get some good seed to soil contact. So that's what I did here. And then after I planted that weekend, so it was the first weekend in April, we got snow. And I think we got like 6 inches of snow or something. So I was a little worried about, is this going to germinate? What's going to happen? And because, I thought, well, if it melts, we'll be fine. Warms up again, it'll germinate, it'll grow. It didn't germinate all April. And the ground temperature, because it was cold the whole rest of April, and the soil temperature didn't go up because the soil temperature has to be a certain ground temperature in order to germinate. And the temperature dropped so much and was so cold for so long, I was worried, well, because it was so warm out, did it germinate? And if it did, then did the snow kill it? And then if it didn't germinate, well, if it did kill it, was I going to have to go out and work everything up again and plant again? So I had to wait. Temperatures warmed up enough in the beginning of May that I started seeing some germination. I was like, okay, well, I'm fine. I don't have to go spend money on new seed. And this isn't the only field. I planted 30 acres of new seeding. So I had a lot of seed, a lot of money on in the ground that I was concerned I was going to have that I lost. So when it started germinating, I was relieved, and I looked like I had a really good germination. And so what I did then was just kind of waited, kept an eye on it. We got some rain. It was around Mother's Day. We got like an inch of rain, and temperatures were warming up. Everything was looking good. And then we didn't get any rain until, I don't think we got any rain until like July 10th or 15th or something like that. So, because it's been so dry this year. And nothing was growing. I mean, it had germinated, came up, a little bit, and then just sat there because it was just so dry. I wasn't sure anything was going to happen. And then I was worried again. I'm like, well, is anything going to grow? Or is everything going to wither out and die from the drought that we had? So waited patiently, and of course, you know, the weeds came up, and at that point, because it was about the only thing that was going to grow in that weather, was some weeds, not all. I had a lot of lamb's quarter in here, so when I took the first cutting off, and I waited as long as I could, because I wanted the, even though it was weeds, it was protecting the soil. So it was keeping it from getting too dry, and which was a big concern of mine, but I didn't want it to I didn't want it to shade out the seed and kill it that way too, because I want the seed to die, or my new seeding, I didn't want it to die from drought, but I also didn't want it to get smothered from weeds. So I was trying to time it a little bit and take it off at the right time. And I think I did time it right. We did get some rain after I took it off. It wasn't much. I think we maybe got an inch of rain. And then I had some regrowth again, and it wasn't fantastic, but it yielded decent. And again, it was the weeds that came back. Didn't see, I saw some alfalfa, some grasses and stuff, you know, what I planted in here. I saw some of the seed. But other than that, you know, it didn't look great. But I was remaining optimistic, and it was getting to one of those situations where, you know, you just keep harvesting what's there. And if I was going to reseed it, I'd have to wait until August to do it. You know, because it was getting too late into the year to really do anything at that point because of how dry it's been. So fortunately, we've gotten rain. We're still in a deficit of rain, but the regrowth is looking really good, and I'm pretty optimistic about this field. I haven't looked at my other fields, but what I've seen from just driving by, or you know, just glancing out there, they look pretty good too. This one probably looks the best. It doesn't surprise me. It used to be pasture, and those typically look really good. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what seed I planted here. And so I'll take and show you a little bit here. So what I did is I got a mixture of seed. I don't plant straight alfalfa anymore. I haven't done that for years. What works out really well for me and shows up really well in the feed test, feeds well, cows milk well off of it, is I got basically I've got 80%, 75, 80% grasses in here. And it's a different variety of grasses. I actually have tailored, customized this crop, my new seeding, to kind of work with my soil. And what I found that works really well is I used to have in this specific blend, there used to be Alsat clover. My soil loves Alsat clover, and the Alsat clover would come and dominate. And that wasn't good because it doesn't grow very tall when it regrows, and it doesn't provide a lot of tonnage. It's good protein, it's good feed value, but it doesn't provide the tonnage that I need. And because of the way it used to dominate my seeding, what I decided to do is pull that out, and I just have red clover in here, and then I have alfalfa, and I use a fast regrowth alfalfa. It's a pillar alfalfa from Prairie Creek Seed, and then I also use a kind of like, because it's pasture, and I do this in all my fields, it's more of like a dry tolerant and a high traffic alfalfa, and it's a little slower on the regrowth. So I got two varieties of alfalfa in here, one variety of clover, and everything else is grasses. I used to have, in my new seeding, I used to have orchard grass. Now orchard grass tends to bunch up and dominate, and the cows don't really like to graze that very much. So I removed that from my mixture. And so, you know, I got like Timothy, perennial rye. I mean, there's a whole list of grasses. I think I've got like 10 varieties of grasses in here. I couldn't even tell you. Fescue, I think, is one of them too. So anyway, this is what it looks like. And what I kind of like to come in here and do is find an area that's maybe average. I mean, this is probably about it. And take a look and see, you know, how many plants I've got, you know, per square foot and stuff. I mean, like this area right here, I've got some bare ground. I mean, that bothers me a little bit, but you know, it's not the end of the world. I mean, some grasses might come in here and fill that in and stuff. But mostly, like, a lot of what I'm seeing here is alfalfa. Now, I've got some clover in here that's showing up. Some clover right there. I got these nice bunches of alfalfa and stuff. And so this is, I've taken 2 cuttings off of here. I'll get 1 more cutting this year. But I tell you right now, I mean, and this is just kind of, I'd say this is probably an average area. I've got a spot over here that's a little more grassy. And but other than that, I mean, you look across the field and it's just, this is looking really good. So patience and a lot of prayers, and just, you know, what do they say? You can pray for a great crop, but you got to put in the work. And then when you do put in the work, the rest is in God's hands, and see what happens. And I think, all things considered, with the way the year has been, this field anyway, I've been really blessed. So if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. Give this video a like if you liked it. And if you didn't like it, no, give it a thumbs down. Why not? But always, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time.